another watch party. For those of you who didn't join us for our last segments of watch parties, we did Sam Harris versus Jordan Peterson 1 through 4. I'm slurring a little bit because I've had a little bit of vodka. We did hours and hours of content. It was usually, I think, 6 hours per video. So everyone do your math, 6 times 4. I think we did like 24 hours of content for that. Nathan Sanders, welcome. Kevin Chaos says, do you use Pro Tools? I have used Pro Tools in the past, but now I use my classic Fruity Loops engine. I love Fruity Loops. I grew up on that, so I'm really fast with it. Yes, I love Fruity. Okay, let's get cracking here. I don't have Discord set up yet, so if anyone does want to call in, I try to do a live stream. Well, Arucard the Immortal says, LOL at Travis ignoring me. Are you mad already?
LOL.
JCP says, how often do you have these? I try to do a live stream. Well, I haven't lately just because things were so busy leading up to the event. But I try to do, I want to do one watch party per week at least. If you're just coming to the stream, guys, hit that like button. Just takes a second. Hit the like button on the stream. Hit the like button. Hit it. You want it. There's 45 of you viewing, 19 likes. Let's get that number up. More people will see it. More people will join. Abhishek Kumar says, hey everyone, welcome. Say hello in the chat, guys, when you get here. I'm having a bit of vodka tonight. What are you guys having to drink, if anything? Tea, coffee? Toyton says, Pangburn, I'm new here. Do you participate in other live discussions on other platforms? I get a lot of invitations. I want to do more. It's just, I find myself being too busy to do much of that, but I am interested in doing more for sure. Okay, what's going on here? We're going to get started in just a minute here, guys. Where are we at? Yeah, we're at 8 p.m. We'll give it 1 minute. Nathan Sanders, welcome. Welcome everybody. Hit that like button on the stream. I have my weed as well. What do I have right now? I have a Great White Shark. THC total is 6.17. CBD total 12.32. See if you guys can see that. No, it's not going to focus. I'm not. But yeah, I have a few puffs per week. That's my pipe. Tied to gay. The D. Hello from Taiwan. Hello, Taiwan. Welcome. Okay. We're going to start off tonight with a little bit of music. One of my new, this track I created, put in your good headphones for this. And I entitled this track just the War of Ideas. And I basically, on the YouTube video, it says, this is what the War of Ideas sounds like to me. So let's do it. It's Jordan Peterson versus Matt Dillahunty tonight. Welcome to the chat. The War of Ideas goes down again.
Oh, this is going to be very fun. Very fun. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. This is fucking awesome. Fuck yes. So hype right now.
All right. Welcome. Another watch party. For those of you who didn't join us for our last segments of watch parties, we did Sam Harris versus Jordan Peterson 1 through 4. I'm slurring a little bit because I've had a little bit of
This
wine.
is so fun.
We did hours and hours of content. It was usually, I think, 6 hours per video.
LMFAO.
So everyone do your math, 6 times 4. I think we did like 24 hours of content for that. Nathan Sanders, welcome. Kevin Chaos says, do you use Pro Tools? I have used Pro Tools in the past, but now I use my classic Fruity Loops engine. I love Fruity Loops. I grew up on that, so I'm really fast with it. Yes, I love Fruity. Okay, let's get cracking here. I don't have Discord set up yet, so if anyone does want to call in during or at some point, we can do it through Skype. And for those of you who don't know, I have my new Ben Shapiro shirt on tonight. Ben Shapiro likes infant genital cutting. And I don't think that's hyperbolic to say that, because Ben Shapiro likes his religious traditions. And one of the religious traditions that he holds dear to his heart and sacred, and he's talked about this, is infant genital cutting. Whether you call it circumcision, genital mutilation, the covenant sacrifice with God, whatever you want to call it from a mythological standpoint, it is infant genital cutting. So, and obviously I've declared ideological war on Ben Shapiro. If you want to read more about that, just go to the warofideas.org. And that's also, you can see the warofideas.org logo in the stream. So let's get started with this War of Ideas, one of my favorite events that I've ever produced. And I'll provide some behind the scenes commentary and some commentary as we go through this, but I want to hear your guys' comments, and I will stop at certain segments to read your guys' comments. But here we go. I gotta crank this back up. This audio's kind of quiet, but I've boosted it a bit for this.
Clearly, I know a couple people here. Thank you guys so much for coming out, and a huge thank you to Pangburn Philosophy, who's put this together, along with a number of amazing events that I've been involved with, some of which they probably run across the screen, so you can be aware it's going on. For those who don't know, I'm Matt Doherty. For 13 years, I've hosted the Atheist Experience TV show out of Austin, Texas, along with lectures and debates and other stuff. I've also been doing magic since I was about 3, so I put together a magic and skepticism lecture where I do some magic and I teach about skepticism. We've been touring across Canada. It's been great.
Guys.
We did Victoria, Vancouver, Winnipeg, Calgary, Ottawa. Tonight we're here, and I'm not doing magic or talking about skepticism because something kind of exciting came up about, several months ago. I was at the Chance Center in Vancouver with Tracy Harris and Sarah Hayter, and we were doing a talk in one room, and I looked in the dressing room next to mine, and it just said Jordan Peterson. And I wasn't all that familiar, but people had already been, sending me information. Oh, you and Jordan Peterson should have a conversation. You should do this. And despite the fact that our dressing rooms were next to each other, we didn't get a chance to speak at all.
So one thing I will mention about that, we were at the Chan Center, and Jordan was speaking only to like less than 100 UBC free speech group people. So he hadn't blown up in the media or anything yet, and he hadn't become super popular. So this was just before that.
And I did my event with Tracy and Sarah, and I went home. And then Travis called and he goes, "Hey, when we do your Magic and Skepticism thing, would you like to maybe take the Toronto event instead of?"
For the record, I don't think that's quite accurate, because I remember when this happened, and Jordan Peterson was already super popular from my perspective, like even mainstream popular already from my perspective at the time. But whatever, Travis, you do you, dog.
Getting up and doing the standard performance, just sit down and have a conversation with Jordan. And I said, absolutely. And I'll tell you ahead of time, right? I'm not going to waste a lot of your time because I want to get to the thing that you're here for. We're basically going to sit up here and have a conversation. We met, I don't know, a couple hours ago.
How about those chairs?
So this will be a getting to know you. There'll be some stuff we agree on, some stuff we disagree on, maybe. Who knows? And then we'll take questions. I know there's mics up there at the end. A couple quick notes. There's something that was announced today that some of you may be familiar with. I will not be taking any questions on American Atheist and David Silverman. And that's probably best because that has nothing to do with this event. The other thing is, and I told Jordan this at dinner, the most frequent clip somebody sent me was a BBC interview where the person interviewing him was like, "So what you're saying is, so what you're saying is, so what you're saying is."
Kathy Newman.
And even if I completely disagree with him about everything, which I don't, and even if I despised him, I despise that even more. So I won't be saying, so what you're saying is. If I have questions, I'll say, hey, does that mean this? Things that lead to clarification instead of straw-manning somebody when you come in clearly with an agenda. So on that note, thank you all again for coming out tonight. We'll try to have an entertaining conversation.
By the way, this event sold out so quickly. Like, I had booked this event before Jordan had really exploded, and I booked it in like, I think this was like an 800 seat venue or something, like maybe 1,000, but not a really big venue. It might even be less than that. But yeah, as soon as Jordan blew up, this event like sold out instantly, and I almost moved it to a bigger venue last minute, but I decided against it because we had a sold out event. So.
Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Jordan Peterson.
So, by the way, Jordan and I had recorded my first podcast that you can listen to if you go to podcasts on the Pangburn channel here. We recorded that a few hours before the event here. We actually recorded it in the venue.
So loud, I was almost knocked over into my chair. How are you?
Ready to go?
All right. Well, there were people who came and were like, "Oh, this was said, and this was said, and this was said," and we talked a little bit about dinner. I thought it would be nice if we started with something quick and easy and simple, like God. In particular, I don't believe there is one, and I have no idea what your thoughts are on it.
You mean on the fact that you don't believe there is one?
No. I mean just about the subject in general, but I'm happy to hear your thoughts on about what I don't think as well, maybe.
Well, it's a complicated problem, and I don't think that we take it with due seriousness. I specifically don't think that the celebrity atheist types, who I actually have a fair bit of respect for, by the way, take it with due seriousness. So I don't think that they take it with due seriousness from a biological perspective or a phenomenological perspective or a literary perspective or a metaphoric perspective.
I gotta give a shout out. We got our first super chat in by Aricard the Immortal, a $2 super chat, and Aricard says Trump 2020. It's going to be an amazing, tremendous. So we have at least one Trump supporter in the audience tonight. Remember to hit that like button on the stream, guys. I'm going to let it keep going here, but thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate that. That money helps keep this engine running.
I've become convinced that the fundamental presuppositions
I should be a paid advocate of the Trump campaign.
Western cultures say, are nested immovably in a metaphorical substrate. When you enter that metaphorical substrate, you're in the domain of religious phenomenology. And I think that not only can you derive...
Here's a question right off the bat. Why does a metaphorical substrate need
Can't
to be
stop
in
addicted
the
to the
religious
same
domain? Think about that one.
That conclusion as a consequence of deep philosophical thought and literary analysis, but that if you know enough about brain function, you'll also come to the same conclusion. I think on the fact that you don't believe there is one.
I mean, just about the subject in general, but I'm happy to hear your thoughts on about what I don't think is, well, maybe.
Well, it's a complicated problem, and I don't think that we take it with due seriousness. I specifically don't think that the celebrity atheist types, who I actually have a fair bit of respect for, by the way, take it with due seriousness. So
That's true, by the way.
They take it with due seriousness from a biological perspective or a phenomenological perspective.
Ooh, a biological and phenomenological perspective. Exactly like my definition of God, Mr. Pangburn.
For a literary perspective or a metaphoric perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta give a shout out. We got our first super.
All those things. All those perspectives. My definition crystallizes all of them, and many more as well.
Chat in by Aricard the Immortal, a $2 super chat, and Aricard says Trump 2020. It's going to be an amazing, tremendous. So we have at least one Trump supporter in the audience tonight. Remember to hit that like button on the stream, guys. I'm going to let it keep going here, but thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate that. That money helps keep this engine running.
That'll do for starters. I've become convinced that the fundamental presuppositions of our very functional cultures, the Western cultures say, are nested immovably in a metaphorical substrate. And that when you enter that metaphorical substrate,
he's just not good enough at describing what he means. He's right about what he thinks, but he's not good enough at describing it, which makes it very difficult to measure the degree to which he's wrong, which of course is a real thing. Everyone is wrong to a degree. So that's why he frustrates so many people. It's also why I frustrate so many people, but I think I don't have it as bad as him, to be quite frank.
And I think that not only can you derive...
Or rather, I may have it worse, but I think I've developed my articulation skills a little bit more than he has.
Question right off the bat. Why does a metaphorical substrate need to be in the religious domain? Think about that one.
That conclusion as a consequence of deep philosophical thought.
Why does a metaphorical substrate need to be in a religious domain? You know what? I'm not even going to answer that one. I mean, if anyone ever calls me out for not answering it, I will. But I just don't feel like taking the time right now. I don't think it's worth answering in this moment.
And literary analysis, but that if you know enough about brain function, you'll also come to the same conclusion. I think you come to the same conclusion as well if you look at the evolution of religious cognition from the perspective of an evolutionary biologist and not from the position of...
That's exactly what I do as well. Please proceed, my great friend, Jordan Peterson.
A evolutionary biologist whose head is addled by the belief that most of human morality was established in the 500 years since the Enlightenment.
Damn straight.
So that's a start, I guess.
Except, and
Oh, God. This dude doesn't even realize he's just been intellectually steamrolled. Fuck.
so you have to bear with me,
Yep.
because I'm from Texas.
That's okay.
And it's because communicatively, he really isn't as good as Matt Dillahunty. Just on a human communication level. He's just not as good. That's why they're even on a stage together.
I'm from Alberta, you know. It's bigger than Texas. Just as bad.
So the curious thing for me is all of that applies, seemingly, if I'm understanding it, to religious thought, religious tradition, the value of religious identity to individuals. And I don't see that any of it relates to whether or not there is a God or whether or not there's sufficient reason to believe there's a God, which is my sticking point. I'm fully fine with the idea, we'll try and get through this without, like, raucous applause, but, hey, at least I got one.
You don't never complain about raucous applause.
Because that's the sticking point for me. I have no problem acknowledging that people derive value from their beliefs, whether or not they map to anything in reality. That they can be inspired and motivated, educated, and enlightened by poetry, prose.
Whether or not they're founded in reality. Beliefs are always founded in reality. It's just they might be insufficiently founded in reality. So, just throwing that out there.
Metaphor, allegory. But my concern is, having grown up a fundamentalist Southern Baptist, the people who I know and some of the people who are working to enact legislation on behalf of their beliefs are convinced that they have good reason to believe that there actually is a God, not just that it's useful to them.
I got to give a shout out to Scott Lovenberg with the super chat, $4 super chat. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And the comment is, we're going exponential now. Extrapolate, kids. Extrapolate. Thank you to Scott Lovenberg for the super chat.
Well, it's not that easy to distinguish between what's useful and what's real. So I think that distinction can be made, but it's a lot more difficult than you think. And I also think that there's no doubt that there are different levels of sophistication of religious belief. What I see happening in this sort of discussion, say, frequently. And again, like I said, I have a fair bit of respect for the atheist types because they spend a lot of time thinking, and that's generally a good thing. I see most of their thinking, however, directed at the fundamentalist types, the fundamentalist Christian types, mostly of the American persuasion, who suffer from the somewhat understandable illusion that the Bible...
And to a large degree, largely even simply due to confidence bias, you end up strawmanning the value of religious belief and belief in God because you have an insufficient understanding of it as a newborn baby atheist.
The biblical corpus has the same epistemological and ontological status as a scientific theory, when it clearly doesn't. Right? If you're...
Okay, now we're closer to the same page.
Okay, if you're a religious thinker, let's say, if you're a serious student of religious thought and a serious philosopher...
Keith Connolly, welcome
back.
back.
One of the things you can't claim is that whatever story the Bible is telling is a scientific theory. And that's just self-evident. First of all, like, when was the first scientist? Descartes, Bacon, Newton? Maybe you could chase it back to the Greeks, but no farther than that. And so the idea that whatever the people who conjured up the Old Testament creation account were doing was something akin to scientific theorizing is a mistake that would only be made by people who don't know how to distinguish between different kinds of truth. And so the fundamentalists, like, I feel for
Different kinds of truth. This is where Jordan and Sam obviously butt heads forever, even through the 4 events that I produced with them. They still continue to butt heads on, well, I mean, it's like there is no multiple versions of different truths. Something's either true or it's not, right? So we evaluate claims and we determine whether they're true based on if they can be demonstrated with evidence. So
the fundamentalists, because what they're trying to do, to give them credit, is to maintain a corpus of stories in which an ethos is based. That would be the Western ethos, in this case of Christianity, because they believe that the ethos is of extreme value. And I also believe that the ethos is of extreme value and that it is nested in those stories. And so they don't like to be confronted by the rationalist atheist.
Yeah, you're denying the stories. You're denying the biological stories. You're just not grappling with the reality of what happened as we evolved in history. You're just not taking it seriously when we raise these objections. You really need to start.
Evolutionary types, because it blows the foundation of their ethos apart, and they feel that it's worth preserving. And I think, well, yeah, it is worth preserving. Now, that doesn't mean that there are...
the question is, though, what is worth preserving? What in that ethos is worth preserving? Not, it can't be the radical claims of miracles and stuff that are just anti-scientific. But obviously, if there are important metaphors, then sure, you can use those metaphors and use the narrative to explain things and explain human issues. But don't lose your grasp on scientific truth while you're doing this. We got another super chat from Arucard the Immortal. I'm gonna just start calling them Immortal because Arucard is just a weird word. And the comment is, "You'll get sick of all the winning, I promise." Big smiley face. So much winning, folks. I think that's in reference to the Donald. Let's read some of your guys' chats here. We're getting into the thick of it with Jordan Peterson and Matt Dillahunty. Again, most favorite events that I've ever produced. I'm so glad I was able to make this work. Pope Francis says, "I was circumcised and left with wang burn." I think I think I can envision another T-shirt being created. Abhishek Kumar says, "What's a Chan Center?" It's actually a venue. It's a live theater venue in Vancouver, British Columbia, in Canada. Mitch S says, "Travis, how much money do you have?" Not very much. I'm not a wealthy person. This realm of work and intellectualism, or at least at the stage I'm at, is not a big money maker. I mean, my company's pretty new, so it'll take time, but I hope one day I'll be relatively comfortable. Arucard says, "I'm about to be this channel's MVP." Adam Race, you guys are talking about Ben Shapiro. We got Adam Race saying Bernie Sanders 2020. Mank Deems back in the house says, I hope Jordan makes a full recovery. Shit sounds pretty bad. Yeah, I've been in email communication with Jordan, and he's working on it. But I'll tell you, during my depression live stream, I'm going to talk about my experience with benzodiazepines, and as good and amazing as benzos are for treating panic and anxiety, holy shit, they are considered to be more addictive than heroin. So you got to be fucking careful with using. Keith Connolly says you need a metaphorical substrate in order to get an interpretation of spirituality that we can all agree on, because our filters of observation have blurry lines into the periphery. You need a metaphorical substrate in order to get an interpretation. So in order to understand spirituality, I don't know. I mean, you can do that with just reason, right? You don't necessarily need metaphor. So I would say you just need skepticism and reason. Again, thank you guys for the super chats.
You're welcome.
Socratic says Darwinian truth is a better term for it that Peterson proposed to Sam in the first podcast. Metaphorical truth makes it seem like it's illusory instead of it being about longevity across time. Yeah, but I mean, the longevity of something doesn't make it more true, right? Keith Connolly says, in the realm of psychology and philosophy, truth can change with perspective. It's not just 1 + 1 = 2. In the realm of psychology and philosophy, truth can change. I mean, truth doesn't really... sure, we can believe something to be true based on the evidence of reality that is available, and we can build a model and say, yeah, that model's true, the gravity model's true. And then if other evidence comes in to crush the gravity model, then we obviously have to reevaluate. Yeah, as long as that's the basis of how we're determining what's true or not. I mean, evidence determines what's true. The Immortal says, I'm looking forward to Pavlovianly training you via Super Chat. Thanks again for the Super Chat, by the way.
I actually said Super Chat foo, like, Super Chat - foo. But, he just didn't pronounce the entire Super Chat. But, it's cool. It's all cool, bruh.
Mortal and Scott Levenberg, thank you guys so much. I can do this all day, and there's a plot twist coming. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Nathan Sanders, welcome to the chat. If something is consistent, then it is true. Clouds are consistently clouds, etc., etc. Yeah, I mean, you can make logical claims like that are going to generally be true, but that doesn't mean they're absolutely true to 100% certainty. Let's get back to the video.
This is a thing that all of you fucking people constantly do, and it's ridiculous. You conflate knowledge with perfect knowledge. Every time a Gnostic, like myself, makes a knowledge claim, or a claim about knowledge, you fucking come at us with, no, it's not perfectly known. You don't know it perfectly. The fuck? Who was talking about perfectly? Who was talking about perfectly knowing things? Who was talking about being perfect? Not me. That's who. That's who wasn't talking about that. God damn it.
Here we go.
Aren't philosophical problems associated with the manner in which they construct their arguments, but they're still worthy. But it doesn't address the issue. There's a deep issue here that we're not contending with. Here's an example. I'm wrong about this, but I don't think so.
This is so fun. Proceed.
I just finished. Well, I thought
Engage.
about it a lot, and I do try to think about where I'm wrong, because I would like to figure out where I'm wrong, because then I wouldn't have to be wrong anymore, right? And being wrong is actually not a good thing. You fall into a pit if you're wrong.
And this is what I point out in the
Scott Levenberg says quantum mechanics is testable and thoroughly well tested, and true isn't a thing there. No, that's not true. There are truths that we can create as far as we build this scientific model about this aspect of quantum mechanics, and we say it is true to say that the probability of X and this happening is this percentage, and that's all we know so far. It's like that's still truth based on the scientific model. But when we get into quantum mechanics, we're talking probabilities often, and not necessarily like measurable or decent predictable measurements. It's hard to nail down. It's hard to create these models and that are like gravity or that are like evolutionary theory. It's not as simple. There's a lot more seemingly random to what is going on.
lecture on skepticism, since you didn't get to see the show, is that being wrong feels exactly like being right. Nobody runs around going, "Oh, I'm wrong, but I'm going to keep believing this." We all assume that we are correct about a great many things, and it's not so much that being wrong is the thing we're afraid of. I think that being exposed as wrong is the thing we're afraid of.
We're also sometimes afraid of being wrong, because if you're wrong at a deep level, it can really hurt you.
Oh, I agree.
It can really take you apart, and so people don't like to be taken apart. Like if you're wrong about your wife, for example, that tends to be a very painful thing. And that's something that's worth pursuing to try
That's
to
why
figure
I
out why
had the
that
frying
is.
pan.
Wow, this one hits deep now. Nat and I are both divorced. Well, I still have to finalize mine, but that wasn't the case at that time.
That should make you popular. Okay, so one of the issues that I have, and you can respond to this, is that the let's say the celebrity atheist types, because I actually like that phrase, they don't seem to me to be contending with the real issues. They seem
What
to
are
be
the
going
real
at
issues?
Dostoevsky, he's a real issue. Tolstoy, he's a real issue. Carl Jung, 20 books and maybe 15 seminars, he's a real issue.
20 books and 15 seminars doesn't mean, it's funny that was cited. It doesn't mean that any of that stuff is valuable, even though some of
LOL. You make the fucking stupidest objections, like, so frequently, Travis. I swear. I'm really just being honest with you, bro. Like, it was marginally superfluous for him to say that, and you really paused him speaking to object to it, when it was only marginally superfluous. And he didn't even say it for the reason you're imagining. That's the real problem. You're out over your skis, bro. I'm just letting you know.
it very well might be, but to the claims that the celebrity atheists are dealing with, like if someone says this God exists, and they're not talking about metaphorical truth, they're talking about they're not saying that metaphor exists, they're saying that God actually exists in either the supernatural or natural realm. It's like the celebrity atheists are saying, okay, let's look at your evidence. It doesn't take 20 volumes and X of whatever, like all of this data that you have to read through to get to that. And it's true, like, but it's like typically evidence you'll say, this is how we know this is how we detect it, or put together a logical argument of some kind, and that's what the conversations have been based on. It's like the cosmological argument, the ontological argument, all these different arguments.
Mircea Eliade. Like, there are some serious heavy hitters in the religious phenomenology domain.
Okay, and just because, again, they're heavy hitters, it doesn't mean that what they have to say on this issue is going to be valuable necessarily.
And my sense so far, I just finished reading all of Harris's books, for example, he doesn't contend with them at all. And it's like, for me, that's like being an evolutionary biologist and not being aware of Darwin. It's actually a big problem. It's not something you can hand wave away. Jung was a mystic. It's like,
You don't have to necessarily be aware of Darwin to be an evolutionist.
Jung was a mystic. Kind of like when Travis told me that what I had said was Deepak Chopra-y. It's fucking not Deepak Chopra-y, and I don't even know Deepak Chopra.
Evolutionary biologist. You can look at the data and the scientific model without being aware of where it came from, right? You don't have to be aware of Darwin. We got another super chat from the Immortal. Says, living is binary and existence is spherical. Living is binary and existence is spherical.
LOL, that timing.
It sounds like a little woo-woo there, but let's see. All forms of truth can be found
that's
by
what he
studying
called it.
this
Woo-woo.
koan
Fuck.
of my invention. My name is Christopher Beauregard Zamowski Blake. Thanks for the super chat again. Keith Connolly, long-time listener, subscriber, says, living is binary and existence is spherical. Living is binary and existence is spherical. That sounds like a little woo-woo there, but let's see. All forms of truth can be found by studying this koan of my invention. My name is
Koan. This koan of my invention. Yes.
Christopher
Beauregard.
Beauregard Zamowski Blake.
Zamonska Blake.
Thanks for the super chat again.
You're welcome.
Keith Connolly, long-time listener, subscriber, says, my dad got on benzo for anxiety, but he's been hooked on them for a couple years now. He recently came down with depression and has meds for depression now. I think it's the benzos. Yeah, it's like, it's hard. Depression just is like, I mean, I won't get into it too much, but it's just such a hard thing to map, like to blame one thing or the other. It's usually a collection of things that leads to depressed states. Anyways, let's keep going.
sorry, he was about as smart as Friedrich Nietzsche.
I think this gets to basically the same point I was talking about before. The thing that you're objecting to, it seems, is that many of us don't want to address the aspects of religion that you find value in, because we're only focused on, perhaps as I'm talking in the show, from a scientific skepticism perspective of, are there valid and sound arguments that would lead one to conclude that a God exists? My answer to this so far seems to be no. And the apologists, the theologians, they keep presenting the arguments, the teleological arguments, moral arguments, and all these things. They have nothing to do with the phenomenology of religion. They have nothing to do with how this impacts people's lives. This is a question of, is it in fact the case? Is it consistent with reality that there is a God? And is it consistent with reality that there is good reason to believe there's a God? That is where the focus is primarily.
Yeah, and it's usually construed as a scientific issue.
Well, it's not so. I would never construe it as a scientific issue, because science can't confirm the supernatural. I mean, we are blocked until somebody demonstrates a mechanism by which we can explore and confirm the existence of the supernatural, and then confirm that it actually can impact the natural world. We're stuck, which is why science relies on methodological naturalism.
You seem to be able to do it with psychedelic drugs.
You seem to be able to do what with psychedelic drugs?
Well, everybody that takes them under reliable settings generally comes back and claims the presence of a mystical experience.
Yeah,
and that seems to be duplicatable and replicable across cultures in labs with multiple different substances, the chemical constituents of which are known very well. It's like it's part of this religious phenomenology, and to me that's just a set of facts. And we know that people have been using those substances to evoke mystical and religious experiences for, who knows, 150,000 years maybe. Sure. We can at least infer that. And we have no idea whatsoever how much of an effect the use of those substances has had on the metaphysical substrate of our culture. Like, so what constitutes scientific data here is by no means clear. Here's an example of this, for example. So,
well, before the example,
yeah.
As someone who's been high as a kite, I fully agree that people take drugs and report experiences that they describe as mystical or supernatural. Just like people report other experiences as if they were religious or ghosts or whatever. We have no way of confirming that this something mystical or supernatural actually can happen. What this is about the language.
Stops people from smoking.
Well, you can stop smoking without any sort of supernatural intervention.
No, not really.